What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over exactly what's happening with NIO and why they keep dropping in the short term. And then I'm also going to touch on whether you should consider buying in with NIO trading at $20 and below. But before we actually get into the video, for those of you who are new here, my name is Evan and I make videos that show you guys different ways of making money in the stock market. So if that interests you guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload. Also, I would really appreciate anybody who hits the like button because it really helps out the channel and it lets me know that you guys enjoyed these video updates. Now, taking a look at where NIO is trading today, they're trading right around 1980 right now, and they're down about 0.7%. When the market opened, NIO was at about $18, and that's quite a bit lower from where they closed on Friday, actually closing at $20 exactly. But you can see throughout most of the trading day, they've started climbing up, and then when they hit that $20 mark, they started pulling back down, and they may actually stabilize around this $20 area, just because that was the closing price on Friday, and so that's acting as resistance right now. But getting into why exactly NIO has been down the last couple days, and this is because of two main reasons. The first reason being that NIO and other EV makers have actually had to hike prices with rising costs of raw materials. The second has to do with the pandemic and different lockdowns that are happening in China, which is actually halting NIO's production. But starting off with the price increases, NIO was actually hit by a pretty sharp increase in global raw material prices, and they actually had to increase prices for 3 of their models, as well as the battery rental service, which is known as battery as a service. The 3 models that are going to be increased are the ES8, ES6, and EC6, which are all going to increase by about $1,570, but both the ET7 and the ET5 are still going to remain unchanged in terms of their price. And this price rise is going to be effective as of May 10th. And actually the CEO of NIO, William Li, said that raw materials, especially battery material prices, have gone up too much this year, and there's no downward trend that can be seen in the near future. And so that's exactly why they're having to increase prices. He also went on to add that the company originally intended to bear that pressure themselves, but they were forced to raise prices under the new impact of the outbreak that's happening in China. And I don't want you guys to think that it's only NIO who's having to raise their prices, because these prices that are increasing for raw materials are causing other EV makers to increase prices as well, and this includes Tesla, XPeng, and Li Auto, which are 3 of NIO's biggest competitors right now. But NIO does still hope to maintain price stability for the benefit of their customers. And so after May 10th, they don't really have any plans to increase prices any further for their electric vehicle models in the near future. Now, I don't know exactly what they mean by near future. That could just mean for a couple weeks or a couple months. But as prices continue increasing for raw materials, we're going to continue seeing these prices of vehicles increase. And I think at the same time, we're going to see their stock price drop, because that's putting NIO's vehicles out of reach to more customers. If customers have to pay almost $2,000 more for a NIO vehicle, they may consider other options. So that's something to keep in mind. And just like we've been seeing their stock price drop the last few days because of this news, I think it's going to take some pretty big catalysts to start increasing their price again. But also this has to do with the suspension of their production on supply chain issues, as well as the outbreak that happened in China. And right now, the city of Shanghai and their 25 million residents are currently on lockdown. And yesterday, Shanghai reported 26,000 new cases. And they also started to initiate restrictions after 20 new cases were reported last week. Since March, due to reasons that have to do with the pandemic, the company's supplier partners actually suspended production one after another and have yet to recover. But just like the price hikes, NIO isn't alone. And in late March, Tesla also closed down their Shanghai production facility due to mounting cases. But both XPeng and Li Auto have yet to announce any EV production suspensions. But I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see them also closing down and suspending production, especially if Tesla, who's one of the biggest producers of EVs in the world, and NIO, who's quite a bit smaller, well, both XPeng and Li Auto are similar in size to NIO. So again, if you guys are invested in either of those companies, I wouldn't be surprised if they do suspend production, at least in the short term. Now, I think despite everything that's happening right now for NIO, there's still a lot of reasons to be invested in this company. Now, Now, I'm not saying you guys should invest in NIO because I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't technically give you financial advice. But I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there are over 300 EV brands in China alone, and NIO already is one of the most popular brands among all of these EV brands. They've made really great progress since releasing their first electric SUVs, and their latest earnings report for fiscal year of 21 shows that the demand for their vehicles is still really high. The last fiscal year alone, NIO delivered over 91,000 vehicles, and that represented a 109.1% year-over-year growth. Their total revenue for that period also increased by over 122%, which was up to $5.67 billion, while their gross profit of $1.07 billion was up 264% year over year. Now, they still were at a net loss in the fiscal year of 21, and that stood at $630 million, which was down 24% year over year. But despite this net loss, the company continues to successfully increase brand awareness within China, so this is going to lead people to believe that their sales of their vehicles are going to continue to grow with each passing month. And in March alone, NIO delivered nearly 10,000 vehicles, and in Q1 total, they delivered 25,700 vehicles, which was up 28.5% year over year. And one thing that really separates NIO from a lot of other auto manufacturers is the fact that they're located in China, which is the biggest EV market in the world. They have a lot of chances to continue to grow in the following years. You also have to take into consideration that the Chinese government, they want to push these EV companies. They want EV companies to succeed because by 2060, they want to be carbon neutral. And by 2035, Beijing aims at making sure that all cars that are sold on the mainland are either hybrid or fully electric. I had mentioned in previous videos that China wanted to get rid of gas-powered vehicles by 2025, and I still think ideally they would like to, but I don't think that that's a goal that they could achieve, so they have pushed that back to 2035, which I think is going to be more of an achievable goal. But that alone should give you a lot of confidence of where NIO is headed. If you tack on the fact that they're in China, which is the biggest EV market in the world, they also have governmental support, and they've been bailed out once by the Chinese government, and then by 2035, Beijing wants all vehicles to be hybrid or fully electric. This just seems like a big recipe for success for NIO. Now, I think there's going to be a lot of other countries that are going to push to be carbon neutral by around that same time, by about 2060, or possibly even earlier. And to achieve this goal, there would be a lot more EVs on the road as compared to normal combustion engines. NIO has also been executing on their plan to enter the mass market, and they just recently launched their first flagship electric sedan, which is the ET7, and at the same time, they plan to expand their lineup of vehicles to serve a greater demographic. Right now, NIO is more positioned in the premium electric vehicle segment, but as they start getting in more revenue and as they become profitable, which could happen in the next couple of years, they're going to have more money to expand both their technologies as well as create more models, which is going to help them expand to a greater demographic and reach more people that previously maybe wouldn't have even considered buying an electric vehicle. The only problem is at this stage, it's too soon to tell how NIO is going to end up in the next 5 years or so, because right now they're not even profitable, where a lot of their other competitors are actually profitable. And so that is a big hit against NIO. And I think that's one thing that holds back a lot of people from investing in NIO. But as there's more brand awareness behind NIO, and as they expand their ecosystem of vehicles and services as well, which is something Tesla has done, and Tesla's succeeded quite well, that's going to help set NIO apart. Because as you guys know, they have the battery as a service, which I'm not aware of any other EV brands that do this, where they take the battery out, swap it with a fully charged battery, and then you have a full charge. And this takes as little as 3 minutes. And I did mention in a previous video that NIO could be licensing their battery as a service out to other EV manufacturers. So as other manufacturers succeed, NIO would be making passive income off of these other brands' success. And like I just mentioned, Tesla, they have a lot of other things aside from just vehicles. For example, they have superchargers all across the country. They also sell solar panels and a couple other things as well. So I think with NIO having multiple ways to make money aside from just selling vehicles, that's going to help set them apart from other brands. And I think that could eventually position them in a spot similar to where Tesla is at right now. And one other thing, just to give you guys some perspective of where NIO is trading right now, when you're looking at their forward sales ratio, currently right now, NIO is trading at 3 times forward sales. And when you actually compare this to other companies such as Tesla and Rivian, they're both trading at 13x and 18x their sales. But again, there are a lot more risks with NIO because they're not profitable, and there's always been that concern about them being delisted. Now, I've mentioned before, I don't know how realistic that is and whether that could happen anytime soon. But this just goes to show you that them trading at 3x their forward sales as compared to 13 and 18x for Tesla and Rivian, you can see really how much growth there is and how much you really could see in profits if you were to invest in NIO if they were to climb up to the same spot where Tesla is at right now, comparatively speaking. And so aside from the couple things I mentioned, the main issue right now is just the inability for them to successfully expand outside of China. And this is one of the main reasons why it's hard to justify a really long-term position in NIO. As long as NIO can enter the mass market and expand outside of China, then they'll see a lot of success. But until that happens, this stock is kind of shaky, and you can't guarantee that a long-term position is going to make you money. But I think when you compare them to other stocks that we're seeing, and ones that have really high ratios to their sales, I think it definitely makes NIO look pretty attractive at this $20 range that they're trading at right now. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and whether you think NIO right now at $20 is a buy, or whether you would pass on them and wait for them to drop even more. Also, if you guys haven't signed up for Webull yet, use the link in the description, and when you sign up and deposit $100, you'll actually get 5 free stocks. And if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like because it really does help out the channel. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you back here in the next one.